myself a cocktail, crack a bottle of wine. We're swinging with the stars without standing in line. Fishing with the divas, hanging with the hunks. Every time they hit the stage, they're all slam dunks. Sparkling conversation, inside information, a bona fide Broadway backstage education. Break out the bubbly, it's time for toast with your lovable, laughable, affable hosts. So hold on tight, we're hot to go on the Broadway Cast Reunion Show.
We're here!
I can't believe it.
It's finally the day.
I can't believe that 2 weeks ago I called Johnny Rogers and said, I think we need a theme song. Like, we need a, right? And he wrote one.
He made one.
What?
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny, and that amazing band. That's way more professional than our show usually.
I'm going to call them out. That's Joe Ravo on guitar and Danny Mallon on drums and Brian Glassman on bass and Johnny Rogers on piano and vocals. And he wrote the song. He said, text me words about your show that reflect your show. And then he wrote a song. I love it.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to the Broadway Cast Reunion series.
I love it. This is probably how Oprah felt on her debut. I literally just want to say, you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car.
We're so happy to be here supporting performing arts centers around the country, Broadway and musical theater fans. I know I miss Broadway. I miss going to the theater so much, Lee.
I know. So for people that have no idea who the hell we are and what are we doing on your screen, Robert and I, 44 weeks ago, on a whim, decided to start a weekly live stream talk show called Quarantine Cabaret and Cocktails. And we started inviting our friends, many of whom live in the world of Broadway or music or TV and I can't believe we've been doing this for 44 weeks, every Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. And it has been an incredible ride. It has gotten me through this quarantine.
Absolutely.
Because there's something to focus on every week. And one of the things that we stumbled upon quite by accident were Broadway cast reunions. And we watched and we saw that our live viewership really spiked on those episodes. So we started to intentionally create them. Long story short, it became a thing. And last summer, early fall, talking to several venues around the country that present Broadway national tours, we felt like there was a need and an interest to engage their audiences, their subscribers, their patrons, their season ticket holders, with Broadway in some way, because they've all been dark for over a year. So here we are.
And one thing we know is that when Broadway cast and musical cast are together, they're like a family. They have fun stories, they have anecdotes, they have a whole other experience than we do as an audience. So we hope to bring you some of that here tonight.
Oh, for sure we will. So we're very excited to launch the Broadway Cast Reunion series tonight. And we are doubly excited that we're launching it with the original principal cast of Frozen, because we love this cast so much, as we know all of you do.
A talented cast.
Oh, and also just like the dearest, sweetest bunch of people you would want to hang out with.
Absolutely.
Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So first we're going to bring on our two princesses, and it's a big deal. If you think about it, you probably on one hand could count the number of Broadway princesses.
Yes.
Maybe a hand and a half, but no more.
Yes.
And so that would be Caissie Levy and Patti Murin. But first, we want to just show you. Did you have something to say?
Haven't you always wanted to be a Disney princess, Lee? Oh, is that just me?
Not as much as you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm ready. Bring them on.
Bring them on. Here's just a little taste of Caissie and Patti on stage in Frozen.
Princess Anna.
Huh? Yeah?
Sorry to wake you, ma'am.
No, you didn't. I've been awake for hours.
We're here to dress you, ma'am.
Dress me? For what?
Your sister's coronation, ma'am.
My sister's coronation. That's right. It's Coronation Day! Come now! For the first time in forever, don't let them dreaming of. Be the girl you always had to be my only world. A chance to find true love. Don't let it burst.
Yay!
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
How are you?
Hi. Hello.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you both for being here so much.
Of course. Great. It's crazy to watch those clips. I've watched that maybe ever since we did it, so it's kind of wild to see it back again.
And yesterday, I saw both of you, your posts. Yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of your departure.
Yes.
From Frozen.
This is true. Yep. I know. A whole year.
It's crazy.
We had no idea what was coming.
Right?
Yeah.
Patty, I watched that Insta story of you walking on stage for your final bow, I think 87 times. There was just
Crazy,
something
right?
like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's and I remember that moment of the wings so much. We used to dance and just like
Make
we
each
did
other
it.
laugh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, when you think of Frozen, you think of the music. The music is so iconic. You two sang your faces off 8 shows a week. 8 shows a week.
It was a big sing for both of us. It was really fun.
My goodness. Yeah, it was a sport. It was literally a sport.
Yeah.
Looking back on it now, it's like, oh yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah. How do you pace yourself? Like, I come more from the concert world, so you're doing like a one-off, but when you're doing 8 shows a week and you're hitting notes like out of the stratosphere, how do you pace yourself so that the audience gets the same gift and you're taking care of your health,
Yeah, I mean, it's a process. You sort of find it as you go. And I know for both of us and for any Broadway actor, when you're opening a show, you do feel a bit shot out of a cannon for the first while, but then you kind of find your stride and you figure out where you can breathe and moments you can conserve and moments where you can't. So sort of how to chart your show, but it takes a minute. You have to sing it in and get it in your body, sing it smart, so that you can deliver the same product every night, essentially, for all the different audiences.
Yeah.
But it's part of the fun of it, like the challenge,
Yeah. And it's also, people in the beginning of when I first got into this would be like, well, you only work like 3 hours a day. And I was like, well, no, because the other 21 hours is making sure that you can sing the show every single night and do the show and do the physical, and so it's a lot of sleeping and drinking water. And now that I'm a mom, I look at Caissie and I'm like, how did you do that? Because I have had all the time in the world with my baby. And she was doing that and then going home and being mom. And it blows my mind in a new way. It always did, but now I'm like, oh, it's unbelievable.
So since you left the show, Patti, you've had a baby, the beautiful.
I've had a baby.
Yes. Yes, and Caissie, you're about to have a baby. Number two.
Yep. Yep. It's next month. I have a month left.
They're gonna be
Home
little
stretch.
buddies.
Are you ready?
They're going to be buddies. I
you
mean, I'm
ready?
as ready as I'm going to be. I sort of forget everything about the newborn stage, which is frightening because I have a 5-year-old, like a just turned 5-year-old. So it wasn't that long ago. So I did say to my husband, David, last night, I was like, I don't remember anything. What am I doing? So that should be interesting. But yeah, like I bought diapers. I have lots of cute clothes. I have some of Cecily's stuff coming because my sister here is hooking me up.
I have a
But,
little
you know.
collection of the fun stuff. It's like,
Yes.
yeah.
Just the cute stuff. No, it's
Yep.
really, I'm very ready to meet the baby, and I've had a really good pregnancy, which I'm grateful for, but I am ready to not be pregnant anymore.
Amazing.
I hear you. Oh, I say I hear you. I've never been pregnant, but I hear you.
You can imagine. Yeah.
You know, speaking of families, me and Lee have heard this week from people, I was saying before the show, from all over the world. This show is such a family show, Frozen. I'm sure you've seen so many Elsas and Annas dressed up in the audience. How was that journey for you guys to kind of be the introduction to Broadway for so many people?
Oh God. I mean, I think I know like both Caissie and I have very, specific memories of going to see Broadway shows when we were younger. And I think it's just remembering your first Broadway show or a Broadway show that meant so much to you. It's such a great responsibility to have, realizing that you are that for so many people, and especially the young ones, that are just developing a relationship with Broadway, with theater, with everything. It's really fantastic, and I keep saying like that. I hope that in however many years I work with someone who's like, I saw you in Frozen. That was my first part. Like, I'm really looking forward to that moment, because hopefully, out of the 1,000 times you did the show, at least 1 or 2 of them will go into theater.
Yes.
You would think the odds are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, it was so cool and for me, just to add on to that too, like it was the first Broadway gig I did after my son was born, because we went out of town with it in 2017. He was 1.5. So, and it was also the first sort of family/kids show I'd ever done. So to do that as a mom, I got to appreciate it on a whole other level, because my son thought he owned the theater and it was like his home, and he still thinks of me as Elsa. And I sort of looked at all the kids through the lens of motherhood, which was just very different than anything I've done before on Broadway. So it made it extra special, to really appreciate like how important it is for these little ones to come and see their first Broadway show, and like that they will remember that,
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's amazing. And Caissie, congratulations to you, because less than a month ago, you became a U.S. citizen.
I did. Thank you. Thank you. It was a really big moment in my life.
Yeah.
Good timing.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it could have been better. It was supposed to happen before the election, but COVID and everything delayed all the applications. But man, it was just thrilling to have it happen now.
Share with everybody the experience that you had, and when everyone there realized that you were Elsa.
Yes. So, I mean, the first cool thing about it was that I got my notice, and you just show up when they tell you to. And they said, my notice said that it was the first full day of Biden's presidency, I would be taking my naturalization test. So
Wow.
I thought that was just like a really cool omen. And I got there, and everyone was, very COVID safe, but there were a lot of people there. And I was prepared for a long day, and I wasn't sure if I would be sworn in that day or not. They sort of didn't tell you in advance, especially because of COVID. So I had to do my test, with my history facts and stuff like that. And then they ask you some questions about what you do for a living. And once the officer realized that I was Elsa, she lost her mind. And then showed me all the photos of her child's Elsa-themed birthday party.
Oh my God.
And then they also, between that and being pregnant, they were like, we're going to get you naturalized today. So then all these other people, all these other officers were like, there's an Elsa here. Elsa's here. What? So they kept coming out. So I think everybody in the whole building was like, who is this? It's like, I was like, sorry. I was getting all this special treatment, not because I was pregnant, probably helped, but really because I was Elsa. turns out.
I love it.
So I wrote that.
Yeah.
You know,
I
gotta
love
use
it.
it when you can. But no, it was lovely. It was, and the whole experience was magical. I cried through being sworn in. It was really very
Congratulations.
meaningful. Thanks.
Yeah, congratulations. Yay.
Thank you. I am one of you officially now.
I love it. Yeah. Well, we would like to bring on your princes.
Dreamy.
You know, as you do. Your Christoph and your Hans, Jelani Alladin and John Riddle.
Hello,
man.
guys.
Hey,
How are you?
Hi, please.
Hi.
You too,
Sam?
John. You're a cutie too, John. It's okay.
Oh,
John and Jelani, welcome to being here. Welcome.
Well,
How are you
thanks
guys
for having
doing?
us. I'm doing good.
better.
Is
We're
this the first time you're seeing each other?
a long time.
Actually, I saw John this summer at the during the BLM moments that happened in New York City. So I did get to see John in the street, but this is the first time I've seen Caissie and Patti in all of a year since I was there the night they did their last show.
That's crazy.
wild.
I don't know
No.
what we've been doing, not seeing each
I
other
saw
this
you when
long.
we were drawing pictures with wine.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But there was a lot of other people there, and so it was very. And I'm going to be honest, I don't remember all of that night. So
That was a really fun night.
Good work there.
that was too much fun.
We love
I saw
you.
Caissie weeks ago, but Patti, I haven't seen you in
No,
9 years.
no, I know.
I know. We've been a little bit those, but
It's so weird because it's like, what do we do? I'm like, I've been busy. I haven't been, I mean, I guess, there's a baby and everything, but still, it's just like, also like a year. Like, that just goes to show how
Yeah,
quickly time.
flies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also in the theater community, a lot of seeing each other is unplanned. You see each other at shows, you see each other out after shows, you see each other at events, on the street. And so, like, it has been definitely a different thing of, like, really, you have to be like, let's FaceTime, and so, and I mean, months go by without even, we've texted and stuff, but it's weird for the theater people. We're all usually in the same place physically, and we're just not.
And how is it, I wonder, in New York City, are you like venturing out on walks, and are there a lot of people out on the street, or are you pretty much staying inside?
When I was in the city, I went for walks a lot. I went to the pier a lot. I often watched the sunset to, like, I don't know, just calm me down and, like, made me feel that the earth was still moving and, like, I was much like it was just much bigger than me. But I think that I have not been there this winter, so I'm not sure what's going on right now. But I feel like people are kind of like, it's cold, I'm staying in my house.
Yeah.
Elsa's out here causing a blizzard every
It's gonna be a blizzard.
Yeah, we're getting another one
Get it
tomorrow.
together, man.
Yeah. Yes.
it's been tricky. It's been tricky in the city because we live here because we like to do all the things New York offers, like museums and Broadway and all these things that just right now. So we're not meant to live in these tiny little apartments here, and so we live in them all the time now. So it's a little tricky.
Got it.
It's okay. You gotta figure out how to make it work like anything else.
I think we're having some technical problems.
Yeah,
with-
sorry.
But
Oh,
Caissie,
Yeah.
somebody has a question about, do we get to hear about the prank war between you and John? Would you like to comment?
Sure. I mean, it was definitely a trio. It was also with Greg Hildreth, our original Olaf, and these two men shared a dressing room, and they had several props that they liked to put in my dressing room. I don't remember how it began, but there were masked characters that would appear with, like, on my couch with like pillows stuffed under a blanket and then my like show shoes at the end, just when I came off stage for a quick change, and I would walk in and there would be like, you know, all the lights would be off, spooky music. There was a massive spider that was in my bathroom for weeks, and they kept saying, like, eventually they were like, have you seen the spider? And I was like, yeah, you're just messing with me, because I hadn't looked up in the corner of the room. And then one day I did, and I screamed bloody murder. Like, they just are terrible humans.
Okay, but I have to say, Caissie, you are the one that loves scaring people.
I do.
And that was a game for, and I feel like perhaps you inadvertently started that because you did some stuff in Denver, and then I remember you used Joseph John.
Of course.
That's where it started.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, of course it started in
I'm
Denver.
not saying it's your fault.
Yeah, no, it's nice that my sister's selling me out here and throwing
Only because you scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, no, it's I really do love hiding on people. So that did happen in Denver. But then there was a whole thing about bunnies in Denver and John.
Yeah,
right.
I went to an antique store and found this rat while we were in Denver, and thought it was a good idea to like write these little notes to Caissie, and it would say like da 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 da, love bunny. And like that's how it started, and she could not figure out what it was, and it went on for weeks. It was brilliant.
I mean, these are the things you do to stay sane when you're stuck in tech forever.
That's right.
Our show was a little technical.
Yeah.
Days got long and zany.
And Jelani, this was your Broadway debut. Frozen was your Broadway debut.
Oh my God! Yes, I was the baby of the group.
Oh my God!
Yes.
I was so young and naive and innocent. Oh man.
We corrupted him.
Yeah, that's right.
Real quick.
Only in the best ways. You know what I mean?
Only in the best ways.
Of course.
So, John, we're going to send you backstage, but don't go away because we're going to bring you back. So just
I'm not going anywhere.
And I want to bring on your Sven.
You can't have Christoph without Sven.
Right?
Andrew!
Oh, where are we?
Where are you, Andrew? You're muted. You're muted.
There
it is. There it is. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Hello, everybody.
Where are you?
So a month ago, when Robert and Lee emailed us about this beautiful reunion, I had just planned a postponed trip because I didn't travel during December, which is a whole story. But I decided, because COVID was getting hot, I decided not to travel. And I was supposed to see my best friend for his birthday, 40th birthday. And so now this week, I am in Big Sur to celebrate his 40th birthday. Yes, the only issue is Big Sur has no Wi-Fi and zero cell phone service. So I have been driving 40 miles down the coast to be able to access you guys. It's kind of a wild
This is the most Andrew story I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Andrew, I can't even.
The way that I thought was, you know, I'm an animal by trait, so I'm here in the wilderness.
So good. We were like doing sound checks, and Andrew was like, we had like bad reception. He's like, I will check in 20 miles. I'm going.
That was me coming down the coast. Yes. Oh my God. I had a solid plan, and it fell through.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate you and all the miles you've driven tonight to join us.
Thank you. I know. In a time of no traveling, and I'm watching everybody in their apartments, thinking, "Oh, here I am at the West End Bar and Grill in Cambria, California."
Oh my God!
Use their Wi-Fi service and order a beer. Like, I was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna make this work."
Well, Andrew, this was your Frozen was your Broadway debut as well.
It was, and I was a baby too.
And so you two, and I'm imagining. How you were able to be Sven and move that costume is beyond me. But I imagine that you look at that. It's amazing.
Michael
there you go.
Michael Curry is a genius. That's all I can say. It's just it's artwork at its best. It's you know.
I also have to say there was no Sven really. Like, let's be real. Like, there was no Sven until Andrew came along and brought like just a kind of unique, special kind of commitment to it that I, as an actor, personally loved, because it felt like I had a scene partner instead of not just like a prop or a puppet beside me.
Yeah, you're gonna make me blush.
Milo knows that you're talking about animals now because he's decided.
Milo, hi.
He's like, I know that Andrew based his Sven on watching his dog a lot.
you,
So I'm a
right?
dog. So
I'm gonna kiss you now. Give me those kisses.
he's my
Oh,
Milo. Yes.
see, animals and humans are just meant to coexist, just like
Yeah.
Andrew and I in our dressing room.
Oh yes.
Oh, you guys shared a dressing room.
We
Yes, we
did share a
did.
dressing room. It was called the Yurt.
Yes.
And
You're
lots of
right.
shenanigans went down there. Lots of
Oh,
shenanigans.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, like they said, tech was long. The show's the process of getting it on its feet was even longer. So with that being what it was, we were trying to have as much fun as possible. And the sad part about the St. James Theater is that it is very disconnected. Like there is no green room. And it's unfortunate because thank God we had two leaders over there, those beautiful women, who would open their dressing rooms day in and day out and just say, hi, everybody. Like, because without that camaraderie, I mean, the company was just, everybody was trudging. And the beautiful thing is the openness, the acceptance of everybody, and the duality of sistership right there. Like, it led us through being able to open a massive show. What we did was huge.
And all the goodies that went through those dressing rooms. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's where all those pranks came from and stuff. There was always something fun going on backstage. We always had celebrations for Halloween and Pride and each other's birthdays. I mean, dressing up like.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
God,
we
pictures from dressing up for your birthday, Caissie. Oh my God.
all of our
I
birthdays.
have all the
like,
footage.
yeah, we just went a little crazy
Where's my
because
phone?
we
Yes.
wanted to connect. We were like a big tower of dressing rooms. So
Yeah.
it was fun to try to like create that unity, even though we didn't have the physical space. We made it happen anyways, which was cool.
I love it. We have a great photo, which I wanted to throw up earlier when John was here, but he froze. I have a really beautiful photo of Patti and John.
I'm sorry, but my hand and arm have never looked better while dancing. I just want
That
to
is,
put it out there.
those are some good points. That's
I'm
a
literally
good
like,
choreo.
this is my dance shot, and that's all you're
Yes.
getting forever. Just, just wonderful. I know.
Thing of beauty.
Oh, my God. Well, I want to take this moment. I want to take this moment to thank the folks at Disney Theatrical Productions in the PR and marketing department who have been so incredibly supportive of our series, and especially this premiere and this cast. And they sent us such incredible, marketing assets and whatnot. And they were just so excited that we were doing this and wanted to support out of work Broadway artists, which we do. And they have been incredible, just incredible. So I want to just acknowledge them because we really appreciate it.
They're the best. They're
Yeah.
the best.
They're wonderful.
So Patti and Caissie, like opening a new Broadway show is a big deal for any actor, but opening a new Broadway show as a Disney princess is a whole other layer of stuff.
Iconic stuff. Yes.
Iconic stuff. Talk to us about that.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely the first show that I've done that was like, instant publicity. You know what I mean? Like instant publicity. It wasn't, usually a lot of shows they're new or, you're sort of like fighting to like get attention and like have your marketing work and whatnot. And this was sort of like, this is Frozen on Broadway. And, this is like a movie that basically the entire world has seen. And so it was instant, major magazine interviews and photo spreads and whatnot. But honestly, I don't know, something about it. They kept it so lovely and really made it feel like it was a new piece that we were doing. And I always say this, I honestly think that it helped a lot that it was animated. You know what I mean? Because we were the first people to sort of embody these characters in this full length musical form. And I really think that took some of the pressure off and also like the designers and our, costume and hair and makeup people, they did such a great job. And so we came out on stage and instantly it was like, oh, that's Elsa, that's Anna, that's Kristoff, that's Sven. Like, they did their part above and beyond, and so they kind of allowed us to really sort of like, I don't know, like sort of like live a little bit more freer inside the characters themselves and not feel so like stuck to something that was already established.
So well said. It's true. And also, like, you know, there was so much new material that we were grateful to get to introduce. So nobody was ever kind of putting a stamp on it, like, let's recreate the movie. So Patti and I know the rest of the cast as well, from principals to ensemble, like none of us felt like we had to replicate something that existed already. They really treated the whole process, and they meaning our creative team and Disney Theatricals, like they really wanted it to feel like our own thing. And I think that's why we all loved doing it so much and loved working together so much. But it's also what made it its own entity with the new music and the new costumes, the new insights into the characters. You know, we just got to go so much deeper, which really was dreamy for us. Because when you're putting up a new show, that's what you're hoping to get, you know, is great material and great new material. And we got kind of the best of both, because we got everything from the film that everyone already knew worked. Because, you know, when your 2-year-old and your grandma know all the music, you know it's a hit. But then all this other new music and new scenes that just went so much deeper. So we kind of got the best of both worlds.
Oh my God, I will never forget. Every night I do this cross to get ready for my entrance backstage. While Dangerous to Dream is happening, I would always sing along with Caissie to the end of that song. She sounded so yummy, and it was such a good song.
And then with Jelani's gorgeous song, Christoph's Lullaby, it was right before I came on to do Monster, and I would stand in the wings and harmonize with him, not that he could hear me, every single night, because that was actually one of my favorite songs in the show, that little addition.
Both beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, we have a couple other guests that we would like to bring on.
Who?
Oh, perhaps Oaken and Wesselton.
Oh, hi.
People. Kevin,
hi.
You're still one of my favorite people in the world. I just can't. I just adore you.
The feeling was mutual, you guys.
Hi, Bobby.
And
I
so
talk to Bobby a lot. I know what Bobby's up
and
to.
so well shorn, Kevin.
Kevin, you're very kept.
Yeah, I don't have to be a mountain man now, so I can actually like
impressive, man.
Join the human race.
See the shape of your head.
Hi, friends.
Like. The way you two entered this whole thing is exactly how walking up to the 5th floor felt every night.
Yes,
Well,
character
how are you?
central, basically.
Kevin and Robert, thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
Great
I've been
to be here.
enjoying just watching the whole thing, and so watching those clips at the beginning was just filled me completely. It was a joyous ride amongst us, you know, it really was.
Yeah, those clips at the beginning really were so emotional.
Yeah, epic. It was a gorgeous show.
Well, Kevin, you know, he steals the beginning of the second act. That's his big, you know, it's a great opening to the second act. Is your whole scene there is brilliant. And Robert, you know, you playing like a bad guy. You're such the actor. I mean, we've seen your work and everything from Cagney on, and you're acting and embodying the character from the cartoon. So much fun to watch. What was the journey like for both of those roles, for both of you?
Well, for me, I got to dance with a bunch of naked Norwegians. So
Yeah, come on.
It's fantastic. I mean, it
It's
doesn't
really
get much better
organic.
than that.
I wanted that part.
As you do.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, the half the fun for me was that I got to enter through the audience. So I actually got to be among all of the little princesses and kids in full Olaf outfits and actually like engage with them. That was one of my favorite parts, was actually like, you know, talking to the audience. It was great.
That was one of our favorite parts too, because we'd always be like, is he going to pick out someone random today? Because he wouldn't always. He'd really actually use it quite sparingly. You know what I mean? Like, so when he did it, it was a special occasion backstage where he'd be like, what did he just say? What did he say? It would be like, he said this to this person because they were doing that. Like, I don't know that you know that, Kevin, but it was always like when you did something, we'd be like, wait, what? Like, it was very exciting for us too.
Funny.
You know, when somebody's nursing a newborn baby in the front row, you gotta say
you gotta bring it up.
Caissie, take notes.
That glue
Yeah,
just-
but I'm not
Seriously.
back.
No.
Nope. Not happening.
And I'll tell you, in terms of playing Wesselton, like when people ask, we used to do the talkbacks and things at the end, what's your favorite part of the show? My favorite part of the show was doing the first scene where I come in to meet, you know, Anna and Elsa, Pat and Caissie, and it was, I loved it every single time. I just did, and I'm 2 years of it, and about to start. I never thought when I started this journey I'd want to do a third year, but I signed on joyously. Like Kevin and I shared a dressing room, and we right from Denver through the whole thing, and we had a ball. We had just solved all the world's problems and riffed on everything that was happening on stage, and drank great bourbon. Our bourbon collection was historic. A couple nights a week we'd have a little sipper after and debrief. But yeah, in terms of the character, was doing that scene every night with such good actors and being able to play and and develop. It was so much fun, and I think for me, I never felt married to the it's such an iconic movie, but I never thought about that. I watched it because I have young kids. I knew the movie, but just sort of treated it as its own thing and ran with it, and I never felt hemmed in by what was done before. Got to create a whole new thing that fit in the world of what we were doing on stage. So it was I miss it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I miss it.
Yeah, a lot. Yep.
We got this Places with Oaken.
Gotta hear about that.
What's the deal with that? I was just asking Robert about that the other day.
Places with Oaken naturally came. I mean, I'd be standing outside of Patti's dressing room waiting to go on because I began the second act. So I'd sit there at intermission waiting to go on, and people would just naturally congregate around Patti's dressing room. And I don't know how it even began. Patti, do you remember? I mean, I think somebody was just like, we should have our own talk show and call it Places with Oaken.
And I was like, I'm gonna be the word sidekick. And like, right. I don't even know. And then we just started accosting people who didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah. Like the joke was like, we would ask somebody a question, but then we wouldn't let them answer. We would say, well, that's all the time we have, because usually that's what it was. Somebody would start a story and then they're like, okay, Places, we got to go. And you're like, well,
we got.
So the talk show is the same kind of thing. You'd ask somebody a question and then say, well, that's all the time we have on Places with Oaken.
But the lovely thing about it is that no one ever told what it was, and because it was like your rite of initiation. Like even as soon as we finally got all the people in the building that was possible to get, then as soon as a new person would come in, we'd be like, and we'd let them be there for a bit before we horrified them, because some of them were truly horrified. Like they thought we were really trying to get to know them, and then they'd be like,
yeah, because you guys would ask like really sweet questions, like, what was it like when you found out you got cast in Frozen? And the new cast member would be like, well, I was on the phone to my agent. And then everyone would scream, well, that's all the time we have. I would hear it every night in my dressing room.
I'm just like such delight in it too. Just like, oh, look what we did. Like,
it was a really good
welcome.
I had no idea. The first time because I was never down there then. I never knew what was happening. One time I randomly had gone downstairs and was coming back up, and they're like, hey, and everybody's standing around, and Kevin's like, hey, Bobby, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, well, blah, blah. And that's all the time. It just busted anyone. That was my, initiation.
Well, anytime I needed entertainment, I was always in the audience of Places for Oaken. I was a proud return audience member.
Standby.
Every night, every time I was standby.
It was pretty great.
Speaking of line reading, Robert, I think someone has a favorite. Your line, I believe, is a favorite on the bottom. It says, "The Duke's line still echoing in my head."
That was probably John Riddle who wrote that in, because I actually like to option up occasionally on that.
Occasionally, wait a minute. Whoa. We would constantly tell him to option up, because at some point in rehearsal, he was told to go,
that's right.
And
then they heard me and they cut it.
You're going to option up tonight, right? You're going to option up tonight. And we would wait to hear it, and he would always chicken out.
I would leave the dressing room, and in the first year it was Tim and Kevin who would say, okay, tonight you're going to do it. And I was like, you know what? I am going to do it tonight. And I'd go and I'd leave the dressing room thinking I was going to do it. When the moment came on stage, I'd be like, power of my soul. oh, I can't quite do it tonight. And I would just let the moment go. And then, let's be honest, when I finally did it, all hell broke loose because everyone else in the cast started optioning up that night. And then there was a big announcement that came over the you know what I'm talking about, Jelani.
Yeah, Jelani joined in.
Here's the fence. Here's the fence of optioning up, and this was Jelani. Woo! Right over the fence. And
like the last weekend of the original.
No, it was like it was literally the last night before their final matinee. Yes,
that's right.
Yes,
that's right.
Yep.
And
it was like, what are they
going
to do? Fire me?
And because I had never done it, I was like, I'm a professional. And then on came the stage manager. If we could just sing the music that was written for the show, that would be great. We appreciate your input. And I was like, I was mortified. But it's Kevin's fault. Let's be honest. Now we've established it. Because every night he was egging me on. Tonight's the night. You can option up. Yeah, okay.
I have to say, the night that you did option up, we fell to our knees laughing. Yeah. We were so happy.
I came up when they were still crying, laughing.
Oh my God.
That night is such a good memory.
That was an epic night, man.
I remember it well.
Yeah. When Caissie occasionally would be feeling it and let it go. And there are nights when I literally threw something across the room because I was like,
the riff that she would pull out, and then Jelani trying it 40 million times in the dressing room later. Yeah. He goes, that one, and he's got his phone there. He's recording himself doing the riff.
You should be Lee and Robert. Lee and Robert, you should be playing just a little bit of Caissie. Did you play it of her on the Tony Awards doing the option, the riff? I mean, we were backstage.
Not the full option. Yeah, it was only the half on the GMA.
It was fun to do, and it should be said that our sound team is what made those moments possible because the sound team on Disney's Frozen was the best sound team I know I've ever worked with.
I agree.
So, I mean, part of the blame goes to them because they had us feeling good out there. And so when we did feel good, sometimes we had to give a little extra sauce,
Well, I think my favorite was on Sundays when I'd be like, oh, Caissie has a little extra to give. And she's giving it. Like, you were just like, day off.
100%.
It's gonna be great. And you would just like, let it fly.
Yeah, every now and then, you gotta keep it new, keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't just the sound team. I'm sure it comes a lot from you guys and that God-given talent. It's not just good sound. That is some talented people up here. Speaking of Let It Go, I mean, finishing the first, taking that song and finishing, I mean, it is you think of Frozen, you think of Let It Go. And the number one asked question we got was about Let It Go, and it's about the costume. Is there anything that you can say about the costume?
All I can say is that the costume design is amazing and Disney knows how to do a quick change. And it took a bunch of people. It was one of the things in the show that was not done by machines. It was all done by people. But it is a top secret moment, so I can't reveal exactly how it was done. But it took, it was a process. Like we started workshopping it in tech in Denver, and it evolved and changed as time went on. And it got down to a science, and there were amazing crew guys involved that really had like the bulk of it. And a lot of it was just about hitting your mark and doing a little prayer and hoping that it all happened. And there were times that it didn't. There were times we had to stop the show and kind of go back to the beginning of the song. There were times things got tangled and a little bit dangerous, but mostly it worked. And every night it was exciting to do it. I will say that.
I bet.
Yeah, it was cool.
Wow.
It was occasionally a painful process for Caissie, though. We were teching in Denver. I had wandered out to watch the night when it was definitely a painful step in the evolution of that costume change. And she was a champion going through that. Oh my gosh.
A lot of moving parts, a lot of trial and error and figuring it out.
But you've never heard a scream. You've never heard a scream every single night when it, when the 99.9% of the time when it worked, you've never heard a scream on Broadway as people just erupting. It was amazing.
We've watched it. We've watched it
Magic.
over and over
Magic.
again. Yeah, it's amazing.
Magic.
Listen, Kevin and Robert, thank you so much
you guys
for
so much
hanging
for
out with
being here.
us again.
Just appreciate you guys.
We do.
You guys are class acts.
Great to see you
Love
all.
you
Thanks for
guys.
having us
Love
today.
you guys.
Good luck with the baby, Caissie.
Thanks, honey.
Loving you.
Loving you too. Mwah.
So we're going to bring back on, hopefully, John Riddle, if his connection has come back.
Yes, we're good. John, are you here?
Am I working?
Hi,
Yeah, we hear you. Yes. Okay.
And,
There he
and
is.
in a moment, we have a surprise for you all. I'm just waiting to see him appear backstage. Your
Yes.
What if he doesn't? Who is he?
Your Patti. Timmy.
Hi.
Hi,
What's
Tim.
up? How's
Hi,
everyone?
sweet.
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
How are
Andrew.
Oh, it's a long story. We won't go there. I'm Big Sur bound. That's all you need to know.
Tim, it's the most Andrew story you'll ever hear. You know?
We'll have to have
I know
coffee
right-
at
right
some
where you
point.
are. I know right where you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. You,
How
Tim,
are you,
thank you.
Tim?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Hey.
Yeah.
You guys,
Well,
it's kind of
you're-
weird that Tim played my father. Like, it's like weird to like really wrap my mind around it.
I'll be the
Yeah,
last.
I guess so.
I think I played your daddy, Jelani.
Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real.
After hours.
Tim, you know, you play a character in the show that is kind of mythical and based on like there's a whole your costume and your whole thing. How was your process in finding your role in this Frozen extravaganza?
Well, it was an amazing like blessing and curse, I would say. Like it was great to have the freedom to interpret a new character and bring a whole new dynamic to it, which we all do when bringing it to the stage, of course. But it was totally different than the movie, which was great. So I got to do a lot of new research and draw new inspirations. But I also knew that was a push and pull with everybody who knew the movie. So it was like I had to pay tribute to everything that had come before me with this huge, amazing movie, but also bring so much of myself to a new interpretation of the role, which was great. I mean, I loved it. It like came with its own struggles, but a great opportunity for sure.
Absolutely. Well, it was wonderful and so much fun to watch that journey every single night. So
thanks so much.
It's this giant 6'5", like
yes,
you know, like giving you kind of like all this drama. It was so amazing. It was so
Oh,
good.
yeah, and Tim's role like probably changed the most throughout the process from Denver to Broadway. And like this dude rolled with it. And you know, at one point you started the entire show. Like it was a really great thing to watch you navigate how those changes ebbed and flowed throughout. And like it really bonded us all together, because when that's a really good example of what was very different from the film, because obviously you couldn't have like rocks that turned into people from the film, you know. So the reimagining of the liminal world and that whole element and the mystical element of the show was like a really cool challenge for everybody to be tackling.
That's such a good point. I don't think I've ever seen an artist gracefully make the biggest adjustments throughout a process from month one, day one, all the way through to opening night. Like, literally opening night, both in Denver and on Broadway, right? Like, I have never seen an artist like you just gracefully they were like, so we're going to give you an entirely new script, entirely new show. How do you feel about it? And you're like, I don't have time to feel. I got to go on stage in 10 minutes. Like,
you were like, conceal, don't feel.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, if anybody watching has questions for the cast, we're going to field questions in our last 10 minutes. Here's your chance. Type them in the comments. And I just want to take a moment to thank our incredible production designer and engineer, Jonathan Hawkins, with the Muse Presents, who's created this gorgeous screen for us. He and his company he took Johnny Rogers' theme song and created the whole animated video opening, which I can't even believe. and he's engineering the night, which is incredible. And he will be fielding your questions, but you have to type them in the comments.
Send them in.
And send them in. Okay, continue. Oh, here's one.
Oh God. I mean, Hunt. John, I always tell this story of that very first Love is an Open Door fall on like our 4th preview, where like we're still trying to figure out our costumes and my 12-pound coronation gown and that choreography that was literally like the most athletic thing I think I've ever done. Yep. Yeah, that's the pretty part of it. That's the pretty part.
I was my arm in my coupe. I'm really proud.
Oh, wait. John, me too. It's literally the best my arm has ever looked while dancing before. Yeah. But literally my heel got caught in his jacket while he was holding me right before the end of the song. And so he tried to put me down, but he couldn't. And so John, instead of just dropping me, he melted with me to the floor. And we ended the number literally on the floor. And like, I was like, we're center stage of a Broadway show right now. But what do? We buttoned the number. We were like, let's know. Yeah. That was it.
It was incredible.
So good.
And of course, everyone off stage is like, are they okay? Are they okay? And we were like, did you see that? That was hilarious. Yeah. If no one gets hurt, I think, it's important to laugh those things off, Oh God. Yeah.
You live for those moments in an 8-show week, a couple year long run. You love when that stuff happens. Like Patti said, as long as no one's getting hurt, it's a blast.
Yep. Yeah. Or like Caissie was saying the end of Dangerous to Dream, when we would be in what we called the cloud moment, and the whole cast would be upstage, the ensemble. And like once every, 3 weeks, you'd hear someone's pants rip. Because those are like proper pants, and they're dancing, the boys are dancing them at 8 shows a week, and they just, and you'd be like, whoops, who was it that time? And whoever girl was alone without a partner in the next session, you'd be like, oh, it was him, but it's just, it happened. It's funny. That's why people like live theater.
That's right. Caissie, someone asked, have you seen the Drag Race lip sync to your version of Let It Go?
Of course.
And
John Riddle alerted me to it happening, because it was right at the beginning of the shutdown, right? Yeah. And
it was that long ago?
Yeah, it was within the first month. And
wow.
And John texted me and was like, "You're on Drag Race." And I was like, what? It was like the best thing that ever happened to me. I was amazed. Because those artists, they are the real deal. So I felt very honored to be their voices for those moments.
I mean, you're the company of like Cher and Lady Gaga.
I will take it. Yeah, no, it was exciting. It was super exciting.
I love it.
Thanks, RuPaul. Right, thanks, Ru. Yes. Ru.
Is there anything from the
Denver
production that you wish was still included on Broadway?
I feel like Jelani knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. Caissie, yeah.
I miss our part of our finale. I actually just said this to Patti like a month ago. We were texting because I think somebody sent me a bootleg of the finale, which I couldn't even remember what it was in Denver. But there was a really bit of like a nice tender bit of music we sang to each other that, speaking of mishaps, one time I like took one step towards Patti in the most tender moment of the show. Like finally the sisters are reuniting, and I tripped like into her face and then shook laughing through the end of the finale. But aside from that one time, it was a really nice piece of music, and I did always miss it.
It was True Love. It was a reprise, almost like True Love. And it was like establishing the fact of it. Yeah. I wish When Everything Falls Apart was
When Everything Falls Apart. I mean, come on, that was like one of the most joyous numbers of the show. And
watching a good song.
Snap dance, we all got to snap dance.
And I think some of Bobby and Kristen's best work. The lyrics were so good, and Greg was so good as Olaf. And
so good.
Oh, and I'm glad that it's preserved on the cast album like that. But that number, it was just so great and so wonderful for the 4 of us to do that. And like it was so like, throwback to like classic musical theater.
Yeah,
like
and Broadway and you actually it's a completely different style than anything else in the show. You know what I mean?
And the reindeer got to tap dance.
Yeah.
And Greg got a really great feature number that actually featured Olaf falling apart, you know? And so I did a little bit of puppeting in the show, but Lynn, oh my God, in Denver, I had to do so much. And I was like, I'm so bad at this. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is what it's like to be Olaf, but only on the right hand, not with the rest of the puppets. Okay, cool. Yeah, it was just such a great showcase, I think for everyone, especially Greg. And the song was just,
I miss it because
so
it was
good.
a beautiful way to put into song the rest of our journey.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
It was charming. It was sweet. It was endearing. You guys had your moment. I mean, there was everything packed into one cute little tight song. It was really it was a fun thing to. Yeah, I still have that
sort
footage.
of also.
I still have the footage from all of us. Jelani WhatsApped it to me randomly at what point, and I still have the original, the very, 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 very first time we ever got through the whole song. It is so charming. It is so charming. Yes. Yes, in the studio. Yes.
Oh my God. Wow.
So good to watch. Yeah.
It was a good one.
So how much did the Sven costume weigh?
Okay, so I had a rhythm of telling this, and now it's gone. But it was approximately just under like 20 pounds, 22 pounds. It was over 22 pounds. That's what it is. Just over 22 pounds. And it surprisingly was light. It's not necessarily the weight that was the issue. It was the position that I was in. And the heaviest part was the head, even though the head itself only weighed 7 pounds. Like it looks massive, and it looks like it probably weighs 20 or 30 pounds itself. But thankfully, Michael Curry is a brilliant designer, and he figured out a way to counterbalance it. And that costume was really, really well crafted, extremely well crafted. I don't think I've seen something that any actor could be so nimble in, and at the same time be so connected to. Because anytime I wanted to do something with the costume, thank God Jelani was a great scene partner, and Patti, but we would, and even Timothy. You know, Tim. He was willing to create an entire backstory with me. This is how dedicated of a performer Tim Hughes is, everybody.
Even Tim.
Even Tim.
Even that guy.
Even this guy in the corner.
That makes me laugh so much. Oh my gosh.
Well, you guys have such great chemistry. Bailey Cupcake says, did you guys know each other before being cast in Frozen?
John Riddle and I actually did a Disney musical together. The summer after John graduated from college, at the Muni in St. Louis, the amazing outdoor theater. It's like 11,000 seats. We did The Little Mermaid together, and I was Ariel and he was Prince Eric, and it was like 105 degrees every night when we did the show. And we sweated so much on each other, so it really trained us for Frozen, I feel.
It was greener than the shirt.
Oh my gosh.
Patti was she took me through my step. And Tim and I knew each other.
Yeah.
We did My Paris together up in Connecticut.
Yeah, and Patti and I knew each other a little bit.
Yeah.
We'd never done anything together, but we knew each other through our husbands and just mutual friends.
Yeah,
and I knew Adam Perry, who is one of our star ensemble members. We did Wicked together in the ensemble a decade ago, and he was like one of the good dancers in Wicked. I was the singer dancer track. I had to do like a pirouette, and then I sang like Wicked at the end. But he was a real dancer in the show. But yeah, so for us to like still be doing it 10 years later and meeting up for Frozen was always cool. We always kind of like look at each other across
the Caissie in the revival of Hair as a teenager in high school being
Don't say teenager, that is rude.
Like, I want to be on Broadway someday, and then to get to work from home. So
and then you did.
Yeah, it's like I think a lot of us knew of each other and knew each other's work and admired it, but it was unusual in that a lot of the cast hadn't done a lot of work together prior, but we all bonded so fast. I mean, you jump right in, and we became a family really quick.
Patti, our friend from Belgium, who's like a huge fan of our show, asked, is the white dress underneath the coronation dress from the beginning? I don't know what that means.
I think that might be the ice dress that he said, the Elsa, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That was for you then, Caissie.
And what is it? Is the white dress?
I think he means is your ice dress underneath your coronation dress from the beginning.
No, not from the very beginning. That's all I can say about that.
That's it. Top secret.
Yes, there is a point in which I'm wearing a lot of fabric at once, but not right from the beginning.
Well, let's make this easier. Any names picked out for the new baby?
I'm thinking it's a girl, so Elsa or Anna, probably. That wouldn't be weird at all.
I feel like Elsa Anna or Anna Elsa.
Yeah, and maybe just like Hans is the middle name. You know, just has a nice like flow.
Yeah, or just Arendella. Arendella.
There you go. See, the options are endless, really.
Christopher. Yeah.
Original. Very well-known name in Norwegian culture.
Wow.
You heard it here first. Baby Ola.
Baby Ola.
Baby Ola.
Baby. No, that would be child abuse. I won't be doing that. Yeah, we have a short list. We're gonna wait to meet the baby and see who she seems like to us. Yeah.
Aww, yeah.
Well, we are very excited for you.
Thanks. Thank you.
I know. And it's so great to see you all again. And I cannot thank you enough for joining us for the premiere of the Broadway Cast Reunion series. We love you all. So much. We can't wait to see you all back on stage again. Robert and I will be in the front row cheering.
That's it.
You know it.
And
say it.
And no. And we are so grateful that you made a lot of theater fans around the world really happy tonight to see you guys. So thank you so much.
I know it was a treat for all of us because we all haven't been together on one, square space situation in a long time. And
very long time.
It was really fun to all be together tonight. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Stay safe.
Be safe.
Love you.
Thank you. Yeah,
guys.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you
all.
all. Thank you so much. Everyone.